I had an opportunity to attend the inauguration of our 44th president. And as I was flying back, I was in Reagan National Airport. I had a chance to meet Fran Drescher. And I didn't, I knew her because I knew the voice. And I was sitting down buying some souvenirs, what have you. And I heard her ask the lady next to me, said, well, how much is this? And then Fran Drescher is the nanny for those. I'm a little probably outdated. I'm dating myself a little bit, but it's a TV show called The Nanny, and she was the nanny. And so I heard her voice, and I looked over, and I said, wow. I said, you're the nanny. I said, excuse me, Fran Drescher. And so we're even Facebook friends now, and she has an initiative called Cancer Smash. And it's an initiative that she has. She was diagnosed with cancer. She reaches out to the world to get them involved in her initiative to bring more awareness to stage 1 cancer, which is the stage where most cancer is the most curable. And so we're Facebook friends, and we dialogue and we communicate and we try and find ways that we can get more awareness here in the state of Florida. So that's just some of the ways I think it can be helpful. But it's also fun when you just send out a tweet and you can connect with friends. I'll close with this. Sometimes I just do it for fun. I might send out a line to a hip-hop song or what have you, and next thing you know, everybody's trying to complete it, or when Michael Jackson passed away, a lot of folks were out on Facebook doing posts about Michael Jackson, and I sent out the first line to Man in the Mirror, and next thing you know, I had about 30 people across the country, friends and folks that had just made it on Facebook, completing the song. We probably went through the whole song. It took maybe about 5 hours, 2 or 3 hours, but nonetheless, we completed it. And then the next day, people who had just logged in, they started back all over again. So it's just that type of fun that you can have on it, but also it's a venue that you can do great things. And one thing I will close with, Speaker Vince is a great speaker. I'm a Democrat, he's a Republican, but I would say this, as a member of this body, he was a great speaker. Sometimes I even wish that, I told him earlier, I wish that he was back here serving as my speaker because of the fairness that he demonstrated as speaker. And one thing that most speakers do, if you're caught sleeping in the chamber, they wake you up in a very embarrassing way. So those who are sleeping right now, you might want to wake up because they might embarrass you on the next round of questions. All right? Especially like the guy next to number 28. Thank you.
It was not only what brought me back to the county commission, but what brought me back to Tallahassee. I love this community. Absolutely love this community. And Tallahassee, Mineral County, has given so much to me. Each one of us, when you run for office at Boise State, when you run for office in real life, you get asked a million times, why do you want to run? Why do you want to serve? For me, it was very simple. I believe that there are different ways that people get back to their community, depending on what stage in life you are. For some, we know, have the means to write a big check to their favorite charity, and that's how they contribute, and that's wonderful. We need folks like that that know our financial programs here in our community. We have others that will roll up their sleeves, as we all do, and volunteer time to get involved in their community, whether it's directly with the government or with a 501c3 or with a specific charity. For me, my calling was I wanted to serve because I think I understand local government, and this is the best way that I can give back at this point in my life. I studied undergraduate local government. My first master's is in public administration with concentration in local government. My second master's is in urban regional planning, which is a lot of what county government does, is growth and development. For 10 years, I was a lobbyist. First, for 4 years here in Tallahassee, representing the Florida League of Cities, which is the association of representatives of local government. I spent 4 years in Washington, D.C. with the National League of Cities, representing over 16,000 municipalities before Congress, local government. Everything I have studied, everything I have practiced professionally dealt with local government. I really enjoy it, and that was my calling. At this point in my life, this is the best way that I can give back. And in fact, my wife and I were living in Washington, D.C. at the time, and we made a conscious decision to move back to get involved with this community. And again, to start planning, as the speaker said, it's absolutely correct. If you want to get involved in politics, you have to plan in advance. And it takes time. And so we made a conscious effort to come back to Tallahassee to begin this process.
This is now open the questions up to you all. So if you raise your hand if you have a question, and I'll call on you. It's all right, in the balcony, yes.
My question is to the second gentleman from the left.
Representative Williams?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Representative Williams?
Yes, Representative Williams. I work for the mayor of the city of Coral Springs, and we're right now engaged in, I guess, kind of a standoff with the state attorney, because we're trying to get the city of Coral Springs on Facebook, and the state attorney is not letting us because he's saying that any discussion between commissioners and any mayor needs to be in the public domain. I want to know if there's any legislation or anything that we can do to, I mean, like you said, you acknowledge that Facebook is a great opportunity to stay in touch with constituents. And I want to know if there's anything we can do right now to take care of this.
Well, I think that's a good question, and what you, the point that you're raising is sunshine. That's government in the sunshine. And for the state of Florida, we probably have one of the greatest sunshine laws in the country. As a matter of fact, a lot of other states model their open government rules and regulations behind Florida's. And I guess to your question, I think it's a great way. I know several local officials individually have their own Facebook accounts. But I guess what you have to work with it may even take working with Facebook or even contacting the folks there is finding out a way that they can save these conversations. Because what happens if the mayor goes out and says, yes, we will build a road down on Jackson Street, we will rebuild the curb or what have you to a constituent that communicates with him on Facebook. They then have to have some kind of record. Now they say, well, the mayor told me that we want to get this road rebuilt. And now it goes, and once it's a discussion in a public forum like that, especially with government officials, there are now requirements, if you will, that say, how do we hold the mayor to this? You know, it's just like the mayor goes out, he's in the commission meeting, he says, the city of Coral Springs, if they make a motion, they move a motion forward to extend or annex a piece of the city that's an unincorporated, I guess, Dade County, right? Of course, Broward. And they want to annex a piece of that land. They then have to go through the proper channels with their legal staff and to do that. And so with Facebook, it just opens up a whole new box of questions of how do they capture that information. I liken it to the voting system in Florida. A lot of folks didn't want the machine ballots because they didn't have a way to have a paper copy of the vote. And so government in the sunshine, it's always important to have some kind of copy of the record that you can then come back and refer to. So I would say definitely look at some way that we can bring about some legislation to address that. It may take having some technical aspects to it, either at Facebook or some other social network venue level, to say we can capture that. But then you open a whole other set of issues or Pandora's box for people who like the anonymity of being on Facebook and being able to send messages and so forth. So, but it's definitely a great question, a great issue to address. And either reach out to your local representative, probably Edmund Jenny or some of those guys in Broward County, Representative Jenny, or feel free to contact my office and we can talk about ways we can address that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good question.
Yes, 59.
I have a question for Representative Williams. What is one thing you learned as far as being a representative of Florida?
That one as being a state representative here in Florida is not hitting the speaker's phone. I know, right? Is that you have to work all the time, that you're never off. If you know you were elected and you say, okay, session is from March to May and I have committee meetings and whatnot, that you're always a state representative. No matter where you are, no matter what you do, so you have to govern yourself accordingly. And I use laws of not, Plato or Aristotle. I use laws of Anna Jordan Williams, who was my mom.